What's up you guys, welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video we're going to be showing you guys just exactly how to install the brand new Heigh10 radio from Tacomabeast.com. If at the end of the video you guys do want to go ahead and install this bad boy, check out the description box below. There's also a discount code. Let's go ahead and now get into the video and show you guys. Alright you guys, so before we get into the installation, we're going to show you guys just what tools you're going to need, and then of course what comes inside the box. I did want to let you guys know, if at the end of the video you guys do want to go ahead and purchase it, make sure to check out the description box below. I've also linked a discount code, so make sure to go check that out. It's going to be on Tacomabeast.com. Let's go ahead and now show you guys and get into the install. You guys, so the tools you're going to need are going to be a size 10mm socket with an extension. Getting the extension is going to help you so you don't damage any of the plastics on the interior. You guys will see why when we get started. And then to go ahead and pair this, you want to go ahead and of course get a wrench. If you guys don't want to use a wrench, you can get an electric ratchet like this, but just keep in mind with this you can damage something, so if you don't know how to use it properly, don't get this, just get a regular wrench. The next thing you're going to want to go ahead and get is going to be a Phillips head screwdriver, and you can also get a drill with a Phillips head just to make your life easier, but same thing, you can damage stuff if you use this, so you can stick to just your Phillips head. It's going to be a panel removal tool just like this. If you guys don't have one of these, don't worry, you can just go ahead and get a flathead screwdriver and that'll work just fine. Some wire cutters like this. This isn't crucial, but it's going to make your job a lot cleaner, so I would get some if I was you guys. The reason you're getting these is because you are going to have some zip ties that come inside the package, but if I was you guys, I'd get some extras just in case. It's just going to help you route the wires all over to make it a nice clean job. That's where these come in handy. Black electrical tape, you guys will see why later in the video. The last thing that you're going to need is going to be either a clothes hanger like this. We're going to go ahead and open it up and straighten it out, but if you guys don't want to do it the getaway like we are, you can go ahead and get yourself a wire puller. They're on Amazon. I believe they're about 20-30 bucks, so you can use that as well. But this is what I have today, and this is still going to do the job. So let's go ahead and show you what comes in the box. So coming right here with this kit, depending on your vehicle, you are going to get 2 boxes shipped to you. So the first box that I have right here is going to be this one. Inside of this one, you're going to get an instruction manual. You're also going to get all the plug and play connectors to do this install, and you're going to get all the brackets and stuff like that for the actual radio. This is where I was saying that it comes with zip ties, but this may not be enough if you want to do a clean job, so go ahead and get some more zip ties to make it better. On the next box, you're going to notice it's going to come inside of this bad boy right here. So inside of this one, you're going to get your modules, you're going to get your actual radio, and you're going to get a couple more wires and another instruction manual. Inside this brown box came in here. That's what came inside. All these wires here came inside of this, so don't throw that box away when you see it in there. Now that you guys saw what tools you need and what comes inside the boxes, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So first step is coming inside the vehicle. The first tool you're going to need to get is going to be your extension with your size 10mm socket. Once again, if you guys don't have an electric ratchet, you guys can just use a regular wrench. As far as for me, I want to use this to make my life easier. So come on in and I'll show you guys. So the first thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is grab your hands. You're going to go like this. It's super simple. You literally just push back and this whole thing should release. Just like that, nice and easy. And then of course, go ahead and set this off to the side where it won't get damaged. So now what we're going to need to do is remove the actual radio. There's going to be 4 bolts. So there's going to be one here, coming to the other side, one there, and one there. To remove those is where you're going to get your 10mm socket with your extension. I'm going to show you guys why I said to get an extension is because of this. So when you're placing it here, if you wouldn't have an extension, your ratchet or your wrench would actually be rubbing on this. So when you're unscrewing it, you're going to damage this piece. So that's what the extension is for. Up to you if you want to use it, but I ain't trying to damage my truck. So go ahead and remove. So there's the 4 bolts. Make sure to put this in a secure location where you won't lose them. Next, what you want to do is go ahead and get like a rag or something to put down right here, just while you're pulling it out so you don't damage it. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully take it out. And then what you're going to do here is basically start unplugging all the connectors that are connected to the radio. So they all should have little tabs on all of them. Just go ahead and remove them all. Sorry. push down the tab and it should release. And once you got everything unplugged, now you can go ahead and put your factory radio in a safe spot. Go ahead and put it away so you don't damage it in case you ever need it for something or sell it. Let's go ahead and now put the awesome brand new one from Tacomabeast.com. Discount code right here.
We do have the install kit here, and one thing that I would recommend doing is obviously have the instructions handy for when you're going through this, just as a reference. I kind of just went through this and I figured out which harnesses are going to be for Jesse's specific vehicle, which is going to be a 2019 and up Tacoma. If you have the 16 to 18 Tacoma, you are going to have a little bit of a different install. But as far as for us, if you go through the instruction manuals, get the specific part numbers. They are all labeled, so it's easy to go. Just match the labels to what year truck you have in the instructions, and you should be good to go. Now, starting off, we are going to get the GPS harness, which is here. That's the part number for this truck. We are going to get the USB harness, which is that part number. And we are also going to get the satellite harness, which is that part number. And we're going to start off with these inside the truck. So as we said, we are in the vehicle right now. I have the satellite harness out of the bag right now, and I'm going to start with that one. Now, if you guys are worried about mixing up connectors, it's pretty hard to mix up because as you can see, this one will go in, but it won't click. Neither will this one. But this black one here that's for it, it clicks in perfectly and it stays in place. So all these connectors are keyed, so you can't really mix them up, which is a very good thing. So next I'm gonna go with the USB harness here. Take it out of the bag. And another nice thing too is that they are almost pretty much color coded. If you can see here, just match gray to gray, and it clicks in. Next, I will get the GPS harness. Take it out the bag, and this is a white connector which will go right here. So now that we have those in, we're gonna head on to the next step. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start assembling the screen here to the factory bezel. Now for this part, you're gonna have to go into the stinger box for the actual mount, and what we're gonna grab is the actual screen. And in one of the baggies, you'll see that it has these 6 silver screws, 2 long screws, 4 really short screws, and then 4 medium screws. What we're gonna use at this point is gonna be the medium screws here, and we're gonna get 4 of them. We'll put these away somewhere safe, and we're also gonna get this display holder here. Now, depending on which year or which screen you have, you're gonna have an option of 2 plates. If you have the smaller screen, which is the 6-inch screen, you're gonna be looking for the part number with the 6 at the end. If you have the bigger screen, which in our case Jesse does, we're gonna be getting the one for the 7-inch display. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the screen. I'm gonna put it in the holder. Now, one thing to note, if you look at the back, you want to match these plugs up with the hole here. So we'll put this on here just like that, so that way we have access to these plugs for later. And we're going to put this in just like that, nice and flush, as you can see here. So now with the medium screws, you'll see the holes here where there are some threads. We'll be threading in right in there. And you always want to start off by hand. You do not want to be using tools this early in the install. This is where we get our handy screwdriver, and we just kind of tighten them down. Now, you don't want to go super tight with this. It is plastic. I'm just kind of using my fingers to get them down faster. And usually what I do is I just give them like a little quarter of a turn once I start feeling it tight. So right there it's tight, I just give it a little quarter turn, and it should be good. Right there it's tight, little quarter turn, tight, quarter turn, then tight and a quarter turn, and that will be nice and secure. So now at this point, we are gonna get our bezel here. We did notice that this carbon fiber overlay that Jesse has interfered with the fitment, so we did have to take it off. At this point, we are gonna put the screen in the bezel. Now you're just gonna put this in here loosely, and what I'll do is I'll flip it over here on this towel, and I'll get our bracket with the number 7 on it. Now, same thing, you're gonna want the plugs and this hole on the bracket to the right, And what's gonna happen is these two clips here, they're gonna clip onto these two holes here. So what you can do is you can kind of just set this into place and then just push the screen up into that bracket until it clips. As you can see here, the clips have engaged. And now at this point, we're gonna go back into our installation kit box and we're gonna get these 4 screws, or 6 screws I should say. And then we're gonna put them in these holes right here. Now these holes are not tapped, so they are gonna be a little bit harder to screw in, but same thing with the other ones, just don't go full force into it because it is into plastic. You do want to be somewhat gentle with these. Put those into place, and then I'll just grab my screwdriver here, start screwing. So that screwdriver was taking way too long. As you can see, it's the next day already. I went home and grabbed my drill because Jesse couldn't, and we just screw these in just like that. Now if you are using a drill, I suggest you be very, very gentle with it. And if you are, just so that way you don't strip these screws out, just little by little. We are screwed in. You excited, Jesse?
Damn, that looks awesome.
Now without connecting anything, we're gonna put this back in the car because we're just using this to flex on people. Isn't that right, Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Transition.
Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna get these brackets here. Now these are gonna be in the pack box as stated. And what you're gonna do is these tabs here, you're just gonna break them off. Just like that. Break these off. Just like that. So at this point, like I said, you're gonna break off those tabs that are on these brackets. Now, looking at the instructions, the way you can tell which side is right and left, if you look at these tabs here, you'll notice on the left one, these tabs right here, they're both hollow. On the right one, you're gonna have one that's filled in and one that is hollow. That's how you can differentiate which one is right from left here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab these, and then also in the stinger box, we did have some screws, which are these ones right here. Now these are gonna be the M5x10 screws. You can tell that it's those ones because they are gonna be a little bit thicker than the rest of them. But after we took those tabs off, we are gonna get the module here. Now looking at the instructions, it is gonna tell you that it is gonna be inverted and it's gonna be set back in the mount. So I'm gonna show you what that means right now. So normally, obviously, you would want the letters to be facing up, but today what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna flip this, and this is the right side mount. And what you're gonna wanna do is line this up until you're able to get it into those holes here, the bottom mounting holes. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna screw this in by hand to start. Then what we'll do is we'll grab our other mount and we're just gonna do the same thing. You can see here the radio is inverted on these mounts, and on both sides we have the screws in on the lower part holes on these bracket. Now, as per the instructions, they do want the module to be set back about 3/4 of an inch. Now, what we're gonna be doing here is, if you look in here in the bracket, there's this little step down here, and that is on both sides. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna line up the front of the radio to be flush right there, just like that, and right there is where we're gonna tighten up our screws. So now that we have these bracket in, as you can see, we do have it flush with this little knockdown here, which the instructions say should be, like we said, back 3/4 of an inch. This is just kind of an easy reference that you can use. So now let's get on to the next step. Now that we have the module in its bracket, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get the radio replacement interface here, as you can see, because that's what the back says. And we're also gonna use the harness that is gonna be for this truck. Now you are gonna have two different harnesses. This one with the 4 big plugs here, as you can see, is gonna be for the older Tacomas, the 2016 to 18. And for the newer Tacomas, we're gonna use this one with 3 big plugs, which is gonna be for the 19 and up. Fight. All right, so now that we have this installed in the bracket, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the interface module here and the main harness, which is gonna be this one that's gonna be provided in the installation kit. Now, first thing I'm gonna do is on this side, I'm gonna get this bigger plug and connect it right in here. Now these are keyed, so you can't really mess this up. Now since we're here, if you look at these switches, there's gonna be 4 of them, and on ours it came in with all of them in down position. You're gonna want to put 1, 2, and 4 in the up, which would be off, and number 3, which in the on position would be down. And if you're confused about which side is up and down, there's going to be a little arrow here to show you which way it should go. Now moving on to the other side here, starting off with this 3-pin, we're going to be grabbing this 3-pin little power harness and ground, connect that one there. Then we're going to get this multiple pin one here, connect it here. And then for this one, if you look here on the bottom, you'll see that it says amplified and non-amplified. Because Jesse's from the factory came non-amplified, we're going to be putting this connector in the non-amplified section, just like that. Now at this point, so that we can start organizing where the wires are going to be nicely, we are going to zip tie this module onto those brackets. One thing to know also, you're going to want to put the majority of these plugs towards the back, because these are going to be plugging in back here with some of the other harnesses. So now that this is zip tied, also keep in mind, if you do these zip ties too tight, you actually can separate the housing from the actual circuit board on the inside. So just try to get it to the point where it's just kind of being held in place. Then we'll get our side cutters here and cut these off. Just like that. We are going to go into the other kit, and we are actually going to grab this harness to start off with. This one, you'll see it only has 3 video outputs, and what we're going to be focusing on is this part for now. This plug here, which is the white, is going to go on this plug here on my left. It might be on the right for you guys on the camera. Plug that one there. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this speed sense wire, and on the main harness we're going to find the other pink wire that says speed sense, and we're going to connect those together like so. Then after that, we'll get this other harness with more video outputs and subwoofer outputs for amps and stuff. This one, we're going to put it in this top one here, this top black plug, just like that. And on this one, the plug that we're looking for is this reverse camera input, and off of the main harness, where is it? There it is. Off the main harness, we're going to look for this OEM camera and plug those together, just like that. Then we're going to get our antenna harness that came in the installation kit. We're going to plug it in the antenna that is here on the module. For power, we're going to go off of the main harness, and we're going to look for the blue wire that says power antenna. Now keep in mind, there is another blue wire here that is for the amps. Make sure you do use the power antenna one. After that, we are going to get this little plug here. This one is going to go on the main harness right next to these 3 main plugs, just like that. Then we're going to be looking at these 2 plugs here on the main harness. This big black one is going to go under this camera harness right here, just like so. This smaller one here that says SWC-IR, connected to this external IR plug, is going to go right next to this white plug right in here. Just like that. Then for the final plugs on this bottom module part, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Heigh10 cables, and we're going to grab these 2. One is going to be a USB, one is going to be the main one that is going to the screen. And these 2 are going to go right here and here. So the gray one is going to go there, and this black one is going to go right there, just like that. From there, we're gonna grab both these cables and kind of just route them through here in preparation for the next step. At this point, just to make it a little bit nicer, I am actually going to get this out the way, and just to make this a little bit nicer and uniform, I'm gonna put one zip tie joining these together because they are quite a bit.
So right now I'm going to show you guys just exactly how to install the mic that comes provided. It's going to come with 2 clips. I'm going to be using the one that has the clip on. So for the other attachment, it's like a 3M double-sided tape, and for me, where I'm going to be placing it is right about right here. That way it attaches there and the voice still catches me. So before doing that, what you're going to need to do for tools is get your clothes hanger, open it up just like this, because we're going to be running the wire in towards the radio. If you guys don't want to do it the getaway like us, you could go ahead and get the tool that's actually for. So the next thing you're going to need is go ahead and get some black electrical tape, and you're also going to need a panel removal tool or a flathead screwdriver. What you're going to need to do, pop it right up just like that, and then it should release it. Now that you remove the panel, up next what you're going to need to do is get that clothes hanger and feed it through. So you can see we kind of put it in already. This microphone on the end there, we're going to go ahead and type it right there, and then using the black electrical tape, give it a couple turns just to make sure it doesn't come off while I'm pulling it back towards the radio. So I taped it off there. Now I'm going to have Steve pull it back, and just like that, it gets pulled in, and you can see it coming out right there. It should pop right out. So what I'm going to do here is take off the tape. So I began to route the wire. You can see my is there. All you do is just peel the seal back and go ahead and run the wire in through there. It's pretty easy. It's not hard. Excess wire, you can feed it inwards in towards the tweeter, and that excess wire, go ahead and pull the wire from the radio in towards it. Put the cover back, and you just snap it in, put the little feet in first. So once you kind of put those together like that, then you just go ahead and zip tie. Make sure you leave it left stack, so that way there's enough room to connect the radio. Zip tie right through it. So now that we got that there, you're going to notice we have this connector here with these specific wires. I'm going to put that off to the side. You're going to see this here. Put that off to the side. This blue one, we'll put it off to the side. These ones will not be used, so we're going to zip tie these and tuck them back inside. Now what we have left here is going to be this one, the USB that we had installed. It's going to be the mic input, this white wire here, and then this blue one here that we had plugged in, this connector, and then the 2 main harnesses. So let's go ahead and grab this piece here, and we're going to focus on the back end. And this is where it might get confusing for you guys because I know it's a lot of wires, but we're going to start off with this antenna wire, and we'll plug that in first. This antenna wire is going to go connected here to the factory harness, just like that. Up next, you're going to have these 3 plugs here, and right here at the bottom you're going to see we have the input for the mic. So we'll grab our mic input that we just installed, just plug that in. So after you've done that, we'll go ahead and grab our USB on the bottom. Looking at this here on the back side, you're going to see there's 2 plugins there. What you're going to want to do is install it on the bottom portion of this. So it's on the bottom end. This black one, connect it only goes in one way, just like that. And now you're gonna have these 2 left over. These are gonna be the main harnesses. So looking right here, I do have a camera installed in mine, so it may look a little bit different, but it's gonna be the same process. Your Tacoma, if you have the same year, one should be gray like that, and then we'll go to that gray one, and then that white one there would go into the white one there. So it's super easy. I just have an aftermarket camera, that's why it has a T-harness. So go ahead and connect, same process, match it up. It only goes in one way, make sure it clips in all the way. And then same thing with the gray one, go ahead and connect it, and make sure it goes in all the way, and it clicks, just like that. You have this. So now that that's done, you're gonna notice that you have left is this right here, that blue one. Go ahead and connect it right there to the radio. It's blue as well on the radio. Clicks right in. After that, all these other connectors, you're not gonna be using them for now. They're for different functions of this radio. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of zip tie everything out of the way, including all these other ones. Something cool about these right here, which I'll be doing a video on soon. These ones over here is so you can add cameras. So with this new radio and this new camera system that I'm going to be installing on the truck, which will be in a future video, I can now see a 360 of my truck. So I can see on the left side, I can see on the right side, I'll be able to see forward, backward whenever I want while driving or anything like that, off-road as well. So that's what those are going to be, but like I said, it's going to be for a future video. So for now, I'm just going to zip tie everything out of the way just to make it nice and clean, and then we'll bunch up the wires and tuck this thing in, and we'll get ready to install the new radio and show you guys. All right, you guys, so now that you've plugged everything in, you're gonna notice this one's plugged in, this one down here is plugged in, all that is plugged in. Your USB is right here towards the top. If you see, if I flip it around, Sirius XM radio, flip it back, USB is towards the top. There's two of them in there, that's why I'm telling you guys there's two inputs, it's towards the top. So now that you got everything kind of zip tied, everything's plugged in, ready to go, now you want to carefully put the wires back into the back. And then one thing I did want to tell you guys, and for you guys to take note on, you want to make sure, if you see these tabs here that we told you guys from earlier, you want to make sure the one with the angle up is in this section, which is the right side, and it's also going to be the one that's blank, because if you see right here at the bottom, this one just goes straight, but it has a hole right through it. On the opposite side, this one has that, but this one has a hole. This side doesn't. And then this one has a hole. So keep that in mind when you guys are placing this in. And once again, just kind of tuck the wires in as best as possible. This may be a little bit hard only because there's a lot of wires to tuck in. And then once you have it tucked in, make sure it latches in correctly, and that's how you know if you installed this correctly. So now that we have it in its position, I'm not gonna lie, that part may be a little bit hard only because there's a lot of wires. Just kind of tuck it, play with it until it goes in. It's supposed to latch, there's like little nipples here that it latches into, and on this side as well. Once you do that, you can go ahead and get your 4 screws you had previously taken off from the old radio, and you're gonna reinstall them. I did want to let you guys know, make sure to take note on the orientation of this so you don't get this wrong. And then another cool thing, if you see right here, I know it's going to be a little bit hard to see on camera, but it says for navigation only. So keep in mind down the road, and make sure to stay tuned because I'm going to show you guys how to install that. I'm going to show you guys just how to get navigation, how to get Sirius XM radio, and a couple other little things to work with this. I'm also going to be installing more cameras, so this thing is actually going to come back out later on because I'm going to show you guys how to get the 360 view on here. Once you have it nicely locked in, up next you're going to have, of course, these 2 wires that we had pulled through previously, and this is going to go to your brand new Heigh10 radio. Let's do that now. When reinstalling this, you want to make sure those red clips are still engaged right there. If not, grab them from your car if they're stuck in there. And then you're going to notice back here there's plugs. Go ahead and just plug those in. They're color coded, so black with black, gray with gray. It's super easy. You can't really mess this up. If you're gonna mess this up, just don't do it. Pay somebody to do it. Hit up my boy Jerry, let him know I sent you over so you get an awesome price. Once you've tucked in all the wires, just go ahead and put this back together how you had taken it off, and it should just snap into place. Make sure you hear everything click. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and start it for you guys. So once you turn the vehicle on, this should turn right on. It does take a couple seconds, but there it is, you guys. It has the famous Stringer logo on there. If you guys do end up wanting this, it's gonna be in the description box below. So right now, I'm just gonna show you guys a quick look on it, but down the road, I'm gonna do a full-on review video, and don't forget, I'm gonna show you guys how to add Sirius XM radio. I'm gonna show you guys how to add navigation to this, and I'm gonna show you guys how to add a couple more features like the cameras, a rear view camera, and stuff like that. You guys will see it. Just stay tuned, be subscribed. But here it is, the first look. So you have your radio, you have your USB if you plugged one in, and you have Bluetooth, your phone, and other things like that. You also have an HDMI input, which I'm probably going to put like a Roku box or something like that on there, or a Fire Stick. And then you have your navigation here, which I'll show you guys later down the road how to install that and make that work. You can also turn the display off if you ever wanted to, and then you just hit the home button and it turns right back on. And it has a couple cool other features, like I can't go through it in this video because it's super long, but there's a bunch of features that you can do to this. You can change the audio, you can change the background, which I have it in pink right now, just for fun. But there it is. If you guys do want it, make sure to check out the description box below. All right, you guys, so if you guys did enjoy today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, please make sure to turn on those bell notifications because we're gonna make more videos on this radio, adding the rear view mirror, adding cameras, adding navigation, adding Sirius XM radio, and just a review overall. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys. Peace.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you, Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.